Okay, first of all, of course, I've read a lot of your history and I know a lot about you, but for other people that might not, kind of talk about how you got started in film.
Well, that goes back a few years. I was fresh out of college. I went to Rice University and studied mechanical engineering and worked for Shell Oil for a couple of years. And
Nice.
then decided pretty early on that that wasn't a proper career path, or I'm sure it's a proper career path for many, but it wasn't for
Right.
me. And I was immediately looking for an exit strategy. I've always been a movie fan. I've loved just watching movies. I've never really had any aspirations of making movies or
Mm-hmm.
being in movies or starring in movies, but I felt I was a pretty serious movie watcher. And then on my way to work at Shell Oil in Bakersfield, there was an abandoned movie theater, and one day there was a for lease sign on that movie theater, and that was all the nudge I needed. About a week later, without really any business experience or certainly no cinema experience, I went ahead and signed the lease and started my new career.
So did you write a business plan and do all that?
I mean, I did. I had never taken any economics classes,
Yeah,
so I got a few books from the library. I learned how to write a business plan, but
cool.
that business plan turned out to be kind of a joke.
Yeah,
As I think business plans a lot of times are anyway.
they
Uh,
are. It's a lot of fluff usually, and it's a lot of obvious things. It's a little
yeah.
frustrating. I just got done writing one for our expansion, so yeah. But you tell people what they want to hear. So
I told myself what I wanted to hear, that it was
yeah,
going to make money. The first time out didn't make money, but then we eventually figured it out and got it going right.
yeah. So how many draft houses are there now?
There's 18 locations
Okay,
of the
that's
Hamilton
right.
Draft House.
Cool. So I know you've juried film festivals before. I know you did Slam Dance this past year, right?
Yes.
And have you done any other ones this year, or was that
This year, I think that's it.
okay?
I don't take on too many of those jury responsibilities. I do
Okay.
definitely take it very seriously.
Sure.
Uh,
Well, I mean, that's what I was kind of leading into. What's your kind of your philosophy when what do you go into? I mean, I know that's like a subjective, open-ended question, but
my hope is that I'm on a jury with people who have good taste in movies.
yeah.
I'm
Well, I hope so too.
I'm not gonna name any specific circumstances, but there have been times where I've liked something and other folks have looked at me as if I was an alien,
Right.
even though I'm right. But
Yeah.
but no, there's a lot of different scenarios. It depends on how many films we're looking at, and the toughest situations are when you've got bigger budget films versus very indie films. I find that a very challenging thing to do. I like to have something of a level playing field in terms of budgets, and
Right.
but I always like when I'm programming our own festival or when I'm in a jury type of situation. I'm looking for the unexpected. I'm looking for just raw talent. I can overlook a few things,
Right.
but generally, I want somebody to surprise me in terms of their storytelling ability.
I was actually quite shocked and humbled and super surprised that you said yes to me to do this. So what was it, you really always wanted to come to Kentucky, or, what kind of inspired you to say yes?
I've been to Kentucky a few times. I've always had a really wonderful time, and I think honestly, the biggest factor was I looked at the calendar and found out that it was exactly opposite the American film market, which I've been going to for the last 9 years
Right.
without fail. And then it just made me reflect upon what exactly am I doing going to the American film market every year? I don't have to go. And when I was weighing the options of my obligation to the American film market versus your film festival, and I did a little bit of research on the town, and I said, this actually sounds ideal and very pleasant, and the scales were completely out of balance in your favor.
Okay. Well, I appreciate that. That worked out really. I mean, you don't understand how big of a deal we're making. I mean, everybody I talk to, it's very exciting. So thank you very, very much.
I'm honored to be there.
Well, I can't wait. Let's see. I wanted to ask you about Cheap Thrills. I've seen some of your videos of some of the things that you've done, like going to the bar and everybody drinks until somebody pees their pants.
Yes.
I wanted to know have you thought of how far you would go, like what your worst phobia is, like if there's something you immediately pops in your brain that you wouldn't do.
Oh man, there's a lot of things I wouldn't do.
I know, but what pops in your head first?
I think the truly death-defying. I I certainly don't want to put myself into a position where I'm risking my life for the promotion of a movie. I would look at that in my dying breath and say that was really a stupid idea. So that's a whole range of things.
Okay.
I clearly don't have that much of a problem embarrassing myself in front of lots
Which
of
I
people.
appreciate and respect.
I think nudity is pretty much straight out, and that's to a point. I think I could get down to a pretty small, brief type of situation.
Yeah.
And be okay. That's as far as we go. Yeah, I don't know. And then if somebody just really prods me a lot, I'll probably do it anyway.
Yeah. Well, I didn't get to see, but I heard about the tequila shots, so that sounded painful.
They were terrible. I did that all weekend long. Extreme tequila shots. It's something we picked up when the guys from Jackass were here at the theater.
Yeah.
I really wish, in a lot of ways, I wasn't even there that night, because I've recreated it so many times with so many different situations that I've probably done 40 extreme tequila shots in my life, and that's probably about 39 too many.
Lord, yeah. I don't even think I could do one. Well, I'm going to ask you one more question, and then I'm going to let you go. And
Okay.
It's kind of an obvious question. What are your favorite films? And I know that's a huge question. Maybe you should break it down to a genre or something that pops in your head right now.
Well, I mean, I've thought about it. It's a tough question because I actually get really excited about new movies that I see, and I'm not the type of guy that actually goes back and rewatches things a lot. But there's some really, there's some classic silent films, kind of a toss-up between The General and City Lights, whether, for all-time favorite that I'd go back to. But then, of the modern era, I think the only time I've watched a movie in the last 10 years and said, this is a new American classic, is probably There Will Be Blood, the Paul Thomas Anderson.
It's an amazing film.
And that I've watched it 2 or 3, 4 times, and so for the modern era, I'd go there.
Okay.
But it's hard to say just a couple.
Well, I know, and you have a broad range of things you're into. So, and then once again, Neil Block and Martha Stevens are the other 2 jurors. So I think you're in good company.
Just make sure that my video looks better than Neil Block's, okay? If that's cool. All right.
Of course it will. Yeah, because you're outside. You're in picturesque. He was like in his boring office, so it'll be good. So thank you for taking the time. I appreciate it.